For many years, trading was hard for me, not because of the market, but because of myself, actually. And you see, I was chasing the market. I was always tired and I was an emotional trader. And I had this huge ego, which made everything difficult. And so it started to get easier once I realized these three things, which is going to help you move forward quicker in the right direction and save you a lot of time and a lot of pain. Okay, so if you're new to my channel, go ahead and like and subscribe, drop your comments below. Let's get started. So the first one is quite simple. Okay, it's sleep. You see, every professional, top performer, athlete, trader, every elite, the best in the industry, okay, they obsess over sleep for a good reason, okay, because sleep is like recovery. It's so obvious and it's so like easy to 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 say, and but it's very hard to do, because as I got into my 30s, like mid 30s, okay, my sleep just deteriorated. It was terrible because I suddenly had insomnia out of nowhere. I never had that problem before. So now I couldn't sleep at night. And I think one of the reasons that people suffer in this area is because of overstimulation. So there's social media and short form content, it's dopamine. So if you are, for example, overstimulated with your dopamine, yeah, sleep becomes boring and then you can't sleep. So you doom scroll past your bedtime. And then if you wake up to go to the toilet, your dopamine is asking you to get a quick hit. So then you go back and you look at your social media, and then you're doom scrolling again at 3 in the morning. And this completely messes up your sleep. And I didn't realize this. Okay. And there are other health reasons that cause bad sleep as well, like stress, cortisol, insulin, sugar, all of these other things that you have to optimize to get good sleep. Okay. But the problem with bad sleep and why it's so important is that when you don't sleep, when you don't get enough sleep, you make bad decisions the next day. That's the main thing. You become impulsive. You take extra risk. So you take more risk. Now, if you're a trader and your job is to make the right decisions and make good decisions and manage your risk, do you understand? Then getting the right amount of sleep every night is so important. And I can't stress it enough. It is so important because that's the thing that's going to save you, having the right sleep. I finally realized that the main reason for my sleep insomnia is not just on the health side and the supplement side. It's to do with dopamine. So if you are addicted to social media, if you are addicted to short form content, if you're addicted to anything that is overstimulating, which is so easy to get sucked into, if any of that is controlling your life, then sleep becomes boring and then you're not going to sleep. So you have to fix your sleep. Okay. If you want to fix your trading, if you don't want to be emotional in your trading, if you don't want to take on risk, if you don't want to go into a tilt or revenge trade mode, get the right amount of sleep. And that's between 7 and 8 hours per night. So set a time to go to bed. Okay. Preferably you're asleep by about 10 o'clock. Okay. Because by 1 o'clock, 1 a.m., you should be in deep sleep. And once you're in the deep sleep mode, this is where the body starts to recover. Now, the next one is more on the strategy side. And that is to find one setup and one entry model, okay, and master that. Stop strategy hopping. You see, all you need is one strategy. Okay, you don't need 3 variations of the same strategy. Okay, you just need to master one. And it's very important that you understand this, because this is going to be the thing that is going to give you mastery and clarity in the way you trade. Let's look at Bruce Lee. He made a quote, and his quote was, "I don't fear the man who has done 10,000 kicks and punches once. I fear the man that has done one kick or one punch 10,000 times." Do you see the difference in that? Okay. And what that basically is mastery, right? You know your entry model so well that a loss doesn't bother you. It doesn't make you try to go and strategy hop and change the strategy, because you know it works. You see, you have the data, and you get the data from back testing, okay, and also forward testing. But it's important that you pick your strategy and stick with it. One strategy, okay? Just one, okay? And you back test the hell out of it every day for a minimum of 100 days, okay? And you might think that that is extreme when I say 100 days, and I guarantee you that it's not. Because you know why? The 100 days is going to pass with or without you backtesting. That time is going to pass either way. Whether you like it or not, it's going to pass. You don't go to the gym on the weekend once and think that you're going to get big. It's the same with your strategy and your backtesting. You have to build the pattern recognition over time, and you cannot do it for 10 hours a day. Okay, because let's just say you're trying to do, or you're saying like, oh, I'm doing 10 hours of backtesting a day. That's not sustainable. It's not realistic. And you don't need 10 hours a day. All you need is half an hour to an hour a day of repetition over a long period of time, because it's the repetition, the amount of repetition and rest in between, that is going to rewire your brain for the pattern recognition that you need. Does that make sense? So you have to see the same thing again and again over a long period of time. And it's usually, the magic starts at around about 30 days, and then you really get into it on about day 50. And then by the time day 100 comes by, it's become subconscious. You're doing it like subconsciously. Okay. And that's where you need to be with your entry model. Okay. And this is key, because everybody just says, oh, here's the strategy, learn the strategy. And then you go and play around with it, put the indicators on your screen, and you go try it out, and then you mess up because you're doing it from memory. You're trying to remember how to trade. Does that make sense? So if you're trying to remember how to trade, you're consciously trading. But if you're doing it from repetition that is ingrained within your subconscious, then it's unconscious competence. That's mastery, right? And you only get there by repetition, by doing it over and over again. And then when you have the pattern recognition, you're not going to second guess. You're not going to hesitate. You're going to be able to open the charts, and you're going to be able to do your drop down analysis and know exactly where you are within the market. You're going to know if the weekly structure is, oversold, and you should stay out and wait for the weekly pullback before you even think of going in on the daily. Does that make sense? So you have to understand this, and you just get through this. You just have to do it. Okay. So once you do this and you commit to this, this is the work that you have to do. Once you can commit and do this, trading's going to become easier because you're going to be able to just look at your charts, come to the market, look at your charts, and within less than 2 minutes, you should know if you should be trading or not. If you have to open your charts and it takes you more than 2 minutes to know if you should be trading for that day, then that means that it's too complicated for you and you don't know what you're looking at. Wow. Do you see what I mean? It has to be second nature. You have to just be able to open the charts and go, okay, here's where everything is. Here's where we're at. And within 2 minutes, you know if you got to set up or not. That's literally how you got to be operating at that level. And you don't get there like by accident. You have to work at it. You have to build that muscle. It's like driving a car home. You drive home every day, that you know exactly how to get home subconsciously, unconsciously, right? It's like when you drove your car and you got home and you got out the car and you don't even remember driving home. That's the level you need to be at with your trading. You're not second guessing. It just happens automatically. So that's a key takeaway from this video, okay? So do that, okay? And then my last point that I want to talk about is ego. Kill your ego. See, I had such a huge ego, and then I had a big ego, and we all have egos, right? It's just human nature, right? But you'll go further in life when you understand how to tame your ego or kill it and control it and keep it under check. And when you get that self-awareness, right, that's you level up, okay? And it's same in your trading. And the way ego works in your trading is that you have to be right all the time. You see, the ego doesn't like to be wrong, okay? And in trading, it's important because you're going to take losses. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to, not every trade's going to be a win. So if you're trading emotionally from your ego and then you don't have any sleep on top of that, like I didn't before, can you see how dangerous that combo is? So now it's a recipe for tilt, for disaster. Your ego, right? Your ego is going to. So when you take a loss, your ego is not gonna want to learn from the loss. You try to block out the loss and you'll act like it didn't happen. So you took a loss and you learned nothing. You didn't get better. Instead, your ego said, "Oh, it's the strategy. It wasn't you. It's the strategy that sucks." So now you go and look for another strategy. You see, another free strategy. You see, because you didn't pay for any strategy to learn anything, so you have no commitment. That's the other thing. But then you don't have any commitment to any strategy. It's so easy to switch. This is what you don't know, or this is what you need to know, is that there's 1 trillion ways to trade. Literally. There is 1 trillion ways you can trade. Okay, and I'm not joking. So if your ego is controlling you, then you can literally have a new strategy every day of the week for the rest of your days. So what hope do you have if you don't control your ego? And I wish somebody told me this, because I had no idea about ego. This is why I'm so big on hammering this, because I think this is more important than strategy. Talking about these things, the real things, is what is going to make you fall. You don't need me to teach you a strategy. I'm here to teach you how to think, how to understand yourself. Does that make sense? So those were the 3 main things that, there's a lot more, and I'll make more videos about other stuff that I think is important. But those 3 core things that I just mentioned, okay, sleep, having just one setup and backtesting the hell out of that, and your ego, these 3, okay, will save you years. possibly decades. Some people trade for 10, 20 years, have no idea. They got no idea about ego. And they don't know why they keep switching. You see how like misleading like the whole thing can be. Like you can just go off in the wrong direction forever, right? And without knowing why. So it's important that you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so sleep, one setup, and get rid of the ego. Okay, so you got to work on your psychology. You have to work on the internal stuff, the inner side of trading. It's not all strategy. Okay, the mental, the mindset, health, all this stuff is 90% of your trading. It's not, strategy is the 10%. Okay, if you want to work on your psychology and improve your emotional intelligence and learn how to get rid of the ego and your FOMO and your fear and all of that good stuff that's holding you back, okay? Literally, it's holding you back from succeeding in trading. It's not strategy, okay? Then check out the link in the description. I created a course called the Inner Edge Pro, and we basically fix all of that, okay? If you're new to the channel, go ahead, like and subscribe, drop your comments below, and until the next video, you're on your own. Take care now. Goodbye.